What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and this time it's for Pendulum. So of course Pendulum got a lot back off the last ban list, of course, with your Astrograph growing to 1, you've got the other stuff going to 3, and your Skullcrabat Joker and everything. This deck, yeah, got very much a lot of buffs. Not all the Pendulum cards that come off the ban list go in this deck, of course, because Lunar Tiger is not something that you would normally put in this. But yeah, we've decided to do a bit of an updated Pendulum list, given that, yeah, of course, they got so much stuff back that it's definitely something that we need to definitely take a look at. So yeah, we'll get on into the deck profile for this one. But as always, before we do get started, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people on the channel. And let's get on into this deck profile. Before we do get started on this one, though, it is brought to you, of course, by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG extra deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats done. Make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile. Okay, so starting us off for the deck profile, we of course start with, I went to go 3 copies. We don't have 3 copies of this yet. Odds on 2 ban lists, we'll have 3 copies of Astrograph Sorcerer. But starting us off, yes, we have the Astrograph Sorcerer. Not as good as you remember it being because we don't have Electromite, but at the same time, it can still net you some cool resources. It's a 7 that you can kind of mess around and play around with. Yeah, overall, still a good card. There are ways to trigger it still. It's not like no Electromite means no Astrograph. It's just the fact that Electromite meant Astrograph was so much more busted. Then we are playing the other kind of Sorcerer, so we're playing our 3 copies of Chronograph Sorcerer. Of course, like I said before, there are a lot of ways to pop in this deck, which means that your Astrograph Sorcerer is pretty much, your Astrograph Chronograph is pretty much always live. There's always some kind of way to trigger it, but yeah. Rarely do I actually trigger the Astrograph Sorcerer because I'm typically just using it to get the free resource in the Time Gazer Magician. It is also a 6, which works out really well with your Harmonizing for going into Fleur-de-Lis plays, which is actually the next line. So we have 3 copies of Harmonizing Magician following up this. Of course, yeah, 3 Harmonizing. It's very, very good for your Fleur play to stop Nibiru from dropping down your board. Although typically, if you're playing fully, you'll have 5 monsters on board before you make the Baron. But if you want to be conservative, of course, you can always like sneakily do 4, make the Baron, then use a normal summon, which is something you can keep in mind. Granted, if that normal summon's good, you're going to go plus, and you know, kind of everything's going to snowball from there, at which point, not pendling the 5 is just being conservative. Let's move, though. After that, we do have another card that is now at 3. We have our 3 copies of Double Iris Magician. Going to net us the free pluses to get us into the trap. 3 copies of Wisdom Eye, follow that up. Again, a card that pops. Cycles out pretty much all of your deck. Just can't be popped with Pendulum Graph, with a Pen Call, which is a little bad, but at the same time, doesn't really matter. It's still a level 4 that you can combo off with. And then after that, we start to slim down our lines, so we're down to 2 copies of Oath Dragon Magician. Reason why I'm playing 2 of Oath Dragon instead of 3 is because I'm playing that Chrono package, which gives us the 6s to go into our Fleur-de-Lis. And then the 1 copy, Baron de Fleur. And then 1 copy of Purple Poison coming in after that. Just a 1 scale that's searchable. Of course, you do get the pop effects with this as well, which lets you get more resources. But I typically only play 1 Purple Poison in a lot of my builds. Then we go into our Performer Pal line. Of course, the next card that come to 3 was 3 copies of Skullcrabat Joker. Normal summon Rhoda for pretty much this entire deck, except for your Sorcerers. Which, yeah, pretty damn good to have a normal summon that searches for pretty much everything and can get you anything that you need at any situation. Card to search it, also, again, more pops, is 3 copies of Performer Pal Pendulum Sorcerer. You can use this to trigger your Chrono and your Astrograph, which are always good. And then after that, we have the generic Searcher / level 4, is 3 copies of Performer Pal Celestial Magician. Great card for just ensuring you have a follow-up play on the next turn. Then lastly, for, I guess this is our Pendulum line, even though those aren't Pendulum cards, it is 2 copies of Tuning Magician, just a level 1 tuner that you can just kind of freely get back. It does get banished, but at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. And then last of our monsters is, of course, 1 Artifact Scythe. You can Scythe Lock in this deck. It's the toxic part about the current format that's going to be kind of a thing going forward, so make sure you're Scythe Locking if you can Scythe Lock, because we need to get this card banned, probably, or Dagda. Probably Dagda. I would think it's better if Dagda gets banned, because there's formats where, like, Sanctum is, like, the one bastion that saves you in a lot of situations. So yeah, Scythe probably not going to get banned. Hopefully Dagda. But we'll talk about that in like 2-3 months time. Unless there's an E-ban. but we're on a tangent here, so we'll keep moving. So we go into our spell cards next. It is our 3 copies of Pendulum Call. Of course, searches pretty much your entire deck, so 3 copies of Pen Call is a must. Another card that searches most of your deck, 3 copies of Duelist Alliance. Of course, 1 card in Pendulum Zone, add Pendulum Monster, or 1 Pendulum Spell Trap card. That's, again, a lot of your deck. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity is the draw spell of choice in this deck. If you want to go a more budget build, you don't have to play this card at all. You can just play like 3 more Pendulum cards and just kind of call it a day, but it just adds consistency to a deck that doesn't necessarily need it, but at the same time, hey, it self-replaces itself. Your extra deck doesn't really matter. Yeah, good card. And then following us up, we have the last 2 one-offs. So we have 1 copy of Star Pendulum Graph, of course, searchable, consistency, why not? And then we have 1 copy of Time Pendulum Graph. Consistency, wait, that's the one thing I didn't need to say out of that. It pop. Send. Do stuff. Okay, next off we have our extra deck, and of course, starting us off we have the Xyz package, and the first card is Time Star. Time Star again, another card that adds generic consistency to your entire deck. Generally, the theme of Pendulum, everything is consistency. Then we have the rest of our rank 4 package, so we have the 1 Tornado Dragon, very good in the current matchups against stuff like Altergeist and Eldritch. Eldritch was the deck I should have sent first there, but you can also use it to hop your Scythe against combo decks. Good times. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller following that up, again, floodgates out extra deck or graveyard based decks. Good, another card, easy to make, it's Pendulum, rank 4 turbo essentially. 1 copy of Baguska, the Terribly Tired Tapir, comes in after that. Of course, your Baguska going to shut down a lot of combo decks, being able to switch everything to defense position, as long as they're not link-based, of course. And then 1 copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus comes through after that. Just going to clear off boards with all of these rank 4s that we're going to be attacking with. Then we go into our Synchro line, so of course we have the 1 TG Wonder Magician, card you can summon off your Halka Fibrax to then get you your pop on your Scythe. Again, another way to summon your Scythe. 1 copy of Shooting Rysar Dragon. Reason why I'm playing this is because we can side that token collector if we want to side it. It can get rid of the Brave tokens. It can, just generically be good against a lot of things. Clears off the Brave token, clears off Sword Soul tokens. Good times. 1 copy of Borreload Savage coming in after that as our Synchro 8 of choice. Of course, Omni Negation. And then 1 copy of Baron de Fleur coming through after that. Of course, this is our level 10. I keep going to say rank. I don't know why. Level 10 standard negation. Also, again, pops. Pops cards. Gets your Astrograph going. And then we go into our link line after that. We have the 1 copy of Artemis after that. Starting us off, I'd honestly say this is probably the most cardable card in the deck. It's rare that I will use it during combos. And then we go into our link 2s. I keep saying rank. Link 2s. So we've got 1 copy of Dagda. Of course, for the artifact package, card gonna get banned. 1 copy of Crystron Halka Fibrax is our other link 2. God damn it. This is just the rank video, isn't it? So yeah, 1 copy of Halka Fibrax. Again, summoning from deck. You can then use it to combo off with the Dagda. Gets that pop. Good times. 1 copy of Selene for transitioning through to either your Appaloosa or pushing for game. Typically, I'd use it to push for game just because Appaloosa for 2, not that impressive. Appaloosa for 4, much more impressive. But access code, pushing game with a link 3. I said a link that time, I didn't say rank. Good times. But yeah, access code, going off the Selene. That's normally what you'd use to push for game. But we do, of course, have the 1 copy of Appaloosa that we're just generically going to be using for negations on our board. But that will wrap us up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or things you would change, do make sure to comment them down below. Pendulum is always a deck that is really fun to kind of vary around with and see what you can mess with. But yeah, as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.